Education Secretary Miguel Cardona is under fire tonight after an internal National School Board Association email seems to suggest he requested that now infamous October NSBA letter that compared parents protesting at school board meetings potentially to domestic terrorists. Let's discuss the latest developments in the story with former Education Department Press Secretary Angela Morabito. And from the group that made the public records request for that email, Parents Defending Education President Nicole Neily. Great to have you both with us.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to put the email up so people could see it on the screen. And it says, it talks about writing a letter to provide information to the White House upon a request from Secretary Cardona. Nicole, how did you guys get your hands on the email, and were you surprised when you read it?
Yes. In October, I sent public records requests to the home districts of all 23 board members, officers, and ex officio voting members of the National School Board Association. NSBA is a nonprofit, so I couldn't send it to them directly, but I did send it to their home districts. And so I have been receiving requests over the past several months. And this was a request that we got back from the Ithaca, Washington School District of board member Marnie Maldonado. They asked for an extension until January 10th. So I only got it on Monday night, and my jaw dropped when I received it because I knew that there were a lot of people who were involved, but I did not expect the Education Secretary's name to come up.
Okay, this is what the Department of Education, through a spokesperson, says. While the Secretary did not solicit a letter from NSBA to understand the views and concerns of stakeholders, the department routinely engages with students, teachers, parents, district leaders, and education associations. And Angela, that's what we would expect a department you've worked with to be doing, no?
I think it's a very weak denial. It actually raises more questions than it answers. You have to wonder just how many outside groups these people are putting ahead of the interests of students and parents. And look, Shannon, having been in that press office and having had to respond to a whole host of wild and false accusations, if this one's really untrue, you know what I would have done is I would have released all the emails from all of our senior officials that were to or from the NSBA or even mentioned it. This is such a serious issue that it calls for radical transparency. But instead, the department is just saying, trust us. And if there's one thing we've learned over the past year is that this administration cannot be trusted.
I want to play some back and forth involving Senator ChuckGrassley, Republican out of Iowa, asking and trying to get more information about whether or not there are federal agencies that are still tracking parents who show up at school board meetings, and in what context.
Is it true that the Counterterrorism Division is tracking school board cases? If it is, will you stop that practice?
As the Attorney General's memo indicated, there has been an increase in violence and threats of violence against individuals who serve in positions of public trust, school board members, teachers, other public officials, and this is a serious concern.
So, Nicole, if that's accurate, that they're tracking only what are threats of violence and things that we would all say are completely inappropriate, what's the problem with DOJ being involved with these particular disputes?
The problem is that this is a fundamentally local and state issue, and that is something that came up from other public records requests we received from both NSBA board members as well as state chapters. Bear in mind, as of today, 19 state school board associations have quit the NSBA altogether, and 28 have distanced themselves from this association. And so the decision-making process at NSBA is very questionable. And it also, you know, as Angela alluded to, the American people deserve answers as to how this happened and why. Because as of right now, it appears that the timeline of this is that Secretary Cardona asked for this, the NSBA wrote this, and as we saw during House and Senate Judiciary Oversight hearings of the Department of Justice, Attorney General Merrick Garland said he then sent his infamous memo as a direct result of this. And so there is a very direct line of action. And if that starts with Secretary Cardona, the American people deserve answers immediately.
All right. Well, we're going to continue to follow this. We know parents around the country have gotten very engaged, very involved over the last couple of years, and they want to be able to do that peacefully, but forcefully when they feel like they need to. So we'll continue to track it. Angela and Nicole, thanks for making time to be with us.
Thank you.